Greetings everyone! Recently, Sonic the Hedgehog the movie was released to home theaters, digitally, Blu-ray, and so forth. Some of you might be wondering, what are my thoughts on the movie? Especially since I did see it in theaters months ago. All I can say for the moment is, stick around. Anyway, the Blu-ray release contains a comic book called The Adventures of Sonic and Donut Lord. The nickname Sonic gave Sheriff Tom because, yeah. Because I'm mostly known for reviewing Sonic comics on this channel, I might as well take a look at it. I'll also go ahead and say that The Adventures of Sonic and Donut Lord is actually an abridged version of the movie using 16-bit sprites. I suspect the same ones that were used in the closing credits. As such, I will be spoiling the plot of the movie. If you haven't seen it and don't want to be spoiled, I'd recommend turning off the video and watching the movie first. If you have watched the movie and or don't care about spoilers, well, here we go. This comic begins with Sonic explaining his current situation. He originally was from another world, but had to come to Earth so that his enemies could not exploit his powers. His caretaker Longclaw held him off so he could escape, but not before giving Sonic a bag of warp rings for just-in-case situations. He spent years living around Green Hills, Montana, secretly having fun with the locals like Sheriff Donut Lord here, or hanging out in his hedgehog cave reading comics in rapid succession. The downside of his current living style is he's alone. It's best expressed while playing a one-hedgehog game of baseball. The loneliness finally gets to Sonic, and he runs so fast, his energies caused a massive power outage. This catches the attention of certain government officials. The next day, Donut Lord hears a strange noise from the garage and finds Sonic holding his bag of rings. The Hedgehog explains who he is and that he has to escape to the Mushroom World before a government surveillance truck that's been tracking him finds him. Said truck arrives and Donut Lord tells Sonic to hide. Emerging from the truck is none other than Dr. Robotnik. He belittles Donut Lord while his egg-shaped drones scan the area. One of them finds Sonic and he runs for it. He evades the drones, but he cannot evade the Donut Lord, who knows all the shortcuts in town. Don't worry, he's a good guy. He brings up moving to San Francisco, and Sonic wonders if it's better than Green Hills. As such, he uses one of the rings to open a portal to the city. The egg drones arrive, and the blast causes Sonic to accidentally toss the bag of rings through the portal. So the two have to escape using Donut Lord's truck. Not before Donut Lord changes clothes, and Sonic briefly leaving and coming back due to not knowing where he's going. During their drive, the two briefly discuss bucket lists. You know, the list of things you've always wanted to do before you die? And Sonic says to himself he'd wish for a best friend forever. They stop at a bar, the Piston Pit, so Sonic can cross items off his bucket list, like causing bar fights and riding a mechanical bull. For some odd reason, he is not wearing a disguise here. Back on the road, Robotnik tracks them down, and Sonic fights back. However, the Doctor's persistent, but in the end, the Hedgehog wins out. After arriving in San Francisco, Sonic and Donut Lord pick up Maddie, Donut Lord's wife, and they head to the building where Sonic's rings are. Robotnik arrives in his prototype Eggmobile and starts another attack. Sonic gets his friends to safety by pushing them off the building. Don't worry, Sonic used the ring to send them back to Green Hills, while using others to have Robotnik chase them all over the world, until they too end up in Green Hills. Hearing Donut Lord and Maddie call Sonic their friend, even though the latter just met Sonic, gives the Hedgehog the motivation to power up and destroy the Eggmobile. Okay, I assume Sonic hit the thing to do it, but between this panel and the next one, it seemed he used psychic powers to spontaneously blow it up. Wrong Hedgehog, guys. Also, it implies that Sonic killed Robotnik here. They didn't open a portal to the Mushroom World and force the Doctor through, so he's, dead. Anyway, all's well that ends well. Donut Lord and his wife decide to stay in Green Hills and basically adopt Sonic by moving all of his stuff from the Hedgehog Cave to their attic. And Sonic finally has a best friend forever. That is, until a two-tailed fox eventually shows up. Like I said, this is an abridged version of the film. A lot of stuff has been cut so it can fit into a short comic. For instance, we don't see the enemies that forced Sonic to hide on Earth in the first place, which, by the way, are tribal echidnas. We don't even get to see Longclaw here. It would have been nice to see 16-bit renditions of them. Also left out is Robotnik exploiting one of Sonic's squills so he could power his machine, and hunting him down so he could study him more. One more thing to note is how Sonic loses his bag of rings. Here, it's when Sonic was shot at by egg drones while deliberately opening a portal to San Francisco. In the film, Tom the Donut Lord shoots Sonic with a tranq dart, and as he was drifting into unconsciousness, saw Donut Lord's San Francisco shirt, which accidentally opens the way to the city, and dropped the bag of rings through the portal. In the end, this comic is for the kids and those that collect Sonic memorabilia. Once more, it's packaged with this release so the buyer would have been familiar with the film one way or another. Yeah, this was a short review. Like I said, this was a short comic. Well, there is one other thing I can do in this video, and I suppose I put this off long enough. It's time to share my thoughts on the film. If I were to describe this movie, it would be Sonic Begins. Sonic, this version of him, hasn't had the experience of fighting the likes of Dr. Robotnik like his other incarnations. That obviously changes at the end, but it is interesting to see this version starting out. I can also buy his immaturity since until his interaction with Tom, he's been on his own on Earth since he was a kid. All of this because Echidna's one of Sonic's powers, which includes his speed and his blue glow power-up mode. And whenever he's in danger, he's always been told to run. Thanks to his journey with Tom and the threat to him, his wife, and Green Hills, Sonic was given the motivation to stop running and fight back with his powers. Given time as he masters his trademark skills, he can become pretty powerful. Ben Schwartz does a good job as Sonic, but there are times I hear his Dewey Duck from DuckTales 2017. And as of this video, I have not seen his interpretation of Leonardo in the recent Ninja Turtles cartoon. Is it identical to his other voice work, or does he change it up a bit? The human characters are alright for the most part. Tom the Donut Lord wants to help people. I mean, that's how he got the respect of the Green Hills townsfolk, and he wants to do the same over in San Francisco. He gets involved in Sonic's dilemma, and once he fully grasps the situation, he plays his part in helping Sonic defeat Robotnik. His wife Maddie served her purpose in the story. Being a vet, she was able to revive Sonic after he was injured by one of Robotnik's bombs. She may not have fully understand what's going on at first, but like Tom, fully gets into the swing of things. After a brief freakout, of course. And it was her niece that gave Sonic his trademark shoes after seeing the worn down state of his old ones. Now what helped Tom and Maddie accept the idea of Sonic was Green Hill's crazy individual, Crazy Carl, and his stories about encountering the Blue Devil, as well as Tom finding one of Sonic's quills early in the film, the same one that will be used against him later on. Which brings us to one, if not the big reason to watch this film, Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. Carrey's always been known for his over-the-top performances, and he nails the role of the hammy doctor. He also portrays the Doctor as having a smug sense of superiority and a sense of menace to him. And at the end, after being stranded on the Mushroom Planet for some time, he's crazier than ever and now resembles his game counterpart, which is fine. Though I do think his black getup was a good touch. Another good touch is how Sonic gives Robotnik the nickname Eggman. Throughout the film, the Hedgehog's been giving food-related nicknames to certain characters. Donut Lord for Tom, Pretzel Lady for Maddie, due to Sonic watching her do yoga, and then there's the Eggman nickname because Robotnik's drones resemble eggs. I appreciate that. Another thing I appreciate is Carrey's taste in music. It's thanks to him that I have a new song on my playlist, Where Evil Grows by the Poppy Family. For those who don't know, yes, he picked the song that he was dancing to while studying Sonic's quill, and now I occasionally dance to this tune myself. The plot itself is straightforward, with the best part being the Sonic vs. Robotnik fight at the end. There are some things that I'm not too keen on, like the argument between Sonic and Tom about Tom moving to San Francisco. It's a shoehorned in plot-related conflict that's resolved thanks to the action, and in the end, Tom and Maddie stay in Green Hills with Sonic. Also, I can do without some of the crude humor. I guess it's for the kids, but sometimes kids deserve some better quality humor. One more thing I'm not a fan of is the in-your-face product placement. Now that's nothing new for media in general. Sometimes productions need that advertising check, but it sort of takes you out of the movie. Sonic the Hedgehog, brought to you by Olive Garden. After a hard day of defeating evil mad scientists, why not treat yourself to our fine Italian cuisine? Okay, moving on to something positive. I did enjoy all the Easter eggs sprinkled throughout the movie. I did mention some of them back in my trailer to analysis video. I'm not going to point out all of them because, first, it would take too long, and second, other websites and videos have done a much better job at pointing them out. Bottom line, if you are a fan of the franchise, you'll be able to spot at least one reference. Should I recommend this film? If you are a Sonic fan, have a child, or are curious, go for it. Just make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. I mean, we're not talking about a family film that's around the same quality as Pixar. This is a fun yet flawed film based on a video game property. One of the better ones in my opinion. Box office sales seem to agree. In fact, despite what's going on throughout 2020, this film was such a success that as of this writing, a sequel was just announced. There are so many directions to go from here. For instance, the second post-credits scene has our favorite two-tailed fox arriving on Earth looking for Sonic. For what purpose? How would he know to look for Sonic on Earth? If Tails came from Sonic's world, is it possible that Longclaw passed the intel to Tails? I did like the idea of Sonic having a parental figure in his youth. Not the first time this happened in the franchise. It's a shame we didn't get to see much of her in the movie. The last time we and Sonic saw her, she was injured and about to be swarmed by echidnas. She could have been taken alive. Does this mean Sonic could face off against the echidnas? What happens if a certain one makes his debut? Boy, that's gonna be awkward. Will Tom be involved in some manner? Will he stay on Earth or accompany Sonic to his world? I mean, we have to go to Sonic's world in the sequel. We need to see what this place is like. And if Tom tags along, he could provide the human perspective. Will Robotnik be involved somehow? If he finds animals like Sonic that could power his machines, I think we can see where this is going. It's a bit early to tell at the moment. For now, I'm just happy the Sonic movie did much better than anticipated. Could you imagine what would have been like if Sonic had that first design? Yeesh. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a good day. I have a question. Is the latte with steamed Austrian goat milk a real thing? If it is, has anyone tried it? Is it actually good? I must know.